All right, have you figured out your destiny, what you should be doing with your life, career, all that good stuff? I can't imagine anything more important for someone to figure out. You know, so many people are just like lost sheep wandering around because they bought into the lie that you can't figure out what you should do, or you have to spend 10 or 20 years just, lost until you finally have that aha moment when you know what you should do with your life. So, luckily, I bumped into some mentors when I was 19 years old, and one of the first things they taught me is that you got to figure things out. When you have no certainty in your life, it's hard to make good decisions. You end up getting pushed from one extreme to the other. And I don't care if you're 19 years old watching this or if you're 50 years old. Most people get this wrong. Most people, if you look them in the eye and say, honestly, are you sure you spent your life doing the things you really were meant to do? Almost all people. I read a survey once, I forget where it was, about 85% of people would say, they don't know what they should be doing with their life. They're not satisfied on a day-to-day basis. So, I thought I would just record a little video back here in the garage. Got some books, Ferrari, Lamborghini, some fun cars that I collect in. But more important than all that, like I said, in any kind of material thing is really having that kind of knowledge. So here's a few little tips that I'll give you that my mentors taught me that I think are amazing. The number one I alluded to a little bit earlier, when you're trying to figure out what you should do, what job you should pursue, whether you should go to college, whether you should go back to school, whether you should switch careers if you already have one, whether you should start your own business, where you should live, if you should move or stay where you are. I think the first thing to know that will really make you feel good is to know that the knowledge isn't that hard to get. You're not going to have to spend 5 years, 10 years searching to get the answers. Obviously, at some level, the longer you look into these things, the more insight. But you can get the basic insight you need really in a very short period of time. There's been so many advances, in science, like medical science and so on. But people forget, there's also been advances in what they call psychometric testing. Those are the social sciences, where there's people who devoted their lives in science to saying, answer these questions, I can figure out your personality type, and I can give you a rough estimate of the general things you should be doing in your life. I use that word, kind of tongue-in-cheek, destiny, because it's not like you wake up and there's some, something over your crib as a baby and it's like you are destined to be an entrepreneur. No, obviously not. What there is, though, is natural propensities, natural skill sets. So, these can be figured out, and they can be figured out by asking about 6 questions. I don't know if I have time in this video to give you all 6, but I'm actually going to do a talk, a live online talk. It's totally free. So many people, literally hundreds of thousands of people have emailed me with this specific question. So I decided to do a free online talk. There should be a link, I don't know, above or below here. And click it. It's absolutely free. I'm going to explain, 5 or 6 principles that you can use right away to really be sure that you're doing the right thing, to make the good decisions, to pick the right career, to know whether you should change, quit, start a new company, work for somebody else, go back to school, not go back to school. So yeah, click the link. And so what I was saying, there's not an exact destiny where we just have this word written over us at birth, but there is, a general kind of, I call it an industry specific. There's general things. There's things that I know I'll never be good at. Like I tried construction. I know how to build a house. It's just not my thing, And for me to try to do it, I'd be miserable. But there are some general industries that I have, always was kind of naturally good at. So what you want to do, even if you feel like you weren't naturally super gifted, there's about 6 things you can follow. I'll show you on this live talk. You fill out these 6 questions and you find where they all intersect, and it pretty much gives you the answers. Now, some people take a little longer. Some people I've seen figure out whole life-changing, choices that they can make, good choices, in just a day or just after an hour of watching these things. So yeah, check out that free talk. Another tip that I've learned is that what you want to do is, once you get the general vicinity, you want to leave some room for innovation, because what will happen is, just take like Bill Gates or Steve Jobs. He started Apple. His thing as general industry was like technology and design. But within that, he had all these innovations over the years. Steve Jobs did, computer, and then laptops and iPods and iPads and iPhones, and now Apple Watch. So that's what I mean about you can go general and specific at the time. So the third thing that I'll say here, and then I'll let you click the link and you can register free to see the whole talk that I'm going to do online. The third thing is that there's actually a few things that I could talk about. Let me put it this way to you. I was listening to Peter Thiel. He's one of the billionaires. He's the co-founder of, let me lean on this car for a second. My arms are getting tired. He says, one of the problems in the world is that you have two choices almost always. You can choose status or you can choose substance. And he says what happens with a lot of people when they're figuring out what they should do with their life, they listen to, let's say your mom says, oh, being a doctor, that's such a great job. It's so prestigious. You'll always make money. And so people, in fact, my dentist, when I was like 15 years old, he wanted to be an artist, he told me, but his mom made him be a dentist because it was a higher status, but he didn't have that real feeling for it. He didn't have, the substance wasn't there. So Peter Thiel, he's the co-founder of PayPal and now a billionaire. He says, when you have those choices, when you have that fork in the road, really go after the substantive thing. And so as you're figuring out your general career and your business destiny, don't just go, okay, everybody. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't be a doctor. A lot of people should be doctors. We need more good doctors. But don't be a doctor just because the status is there, because you won't have the highest level of curiosity that you need to really thrive in what you ever do. And so, if there's one little tidbit I'll add before I end here, is that whatever you end up in career-wise, the likelihood of your success. So let's say you identify a destiny. You want to be an entrepreneur. You want to make the next mobile app. You want to start a hotel chain, a restaurant, a healthy, organic, fast food place. I don't know why no one's started one of those yet. But so you have to identify first, not just a good idea, whether, and I'm going to give you in this talk, 6 things that'll tell you whether your skill set is really matched with that choice. So you have that conscious choice. I want to do this. Then you got to make sure it matches up with these 6 kind of destiny finders. And let's say it does. So then you get your general thing you're going to do. Then you ask yourself before you do it, am I just doing this? Am I just excited about this because it's high status? And Peter Thiel says, don't make that decision. You can become and live an amazing life in almost any field. Like, I don't believe you can't make money in art. I don't believe you can't make money as a musician. I don't believe you can't make money as an actor or starting a magazine or starting a restaurant. If this is your destiny to do, you should do it, even if you make a little bit less money than somebody who just pursues status. Now, ideally, you can figure out something that has substance and status and material success, but not just material success, also has, real happiness and satisfaction and fulfillment. So it's a complicated subject, and that's why I'm going to do this talk, because I'll really lay it out. I have a whiteboard. I'll write out these 6 things, and I'll do it step by step. I just was here in the garage, and I was reading some emails. I get thousands of these a day, and I was just thinking, I got to record a video on this and do a little talk here. So click the link. It'll show you the times in your local time. It's absolutely free. There's no gimmicks or anything, and you just put in your email. Make sure you don't put it off, because every time I do these free online talks, literally it blows up my servers. So we limit how many people can come. Last time we had 10,000 people try to get on, and it crashed the site. So I'm gonna limit how many people. So click the link. It'll show you if there's any spots available. And yeah, but the takeaway, even if you don't make it to my talk, is that don't buy into the lie you got to spend 10 or 20 years doing the wrong thing until you can find the right thing. Don't buy into the lie that just because there's not a traditional status to what you want to do, that there's no opportunity. There's opportunity in lots of things. As long as there's demand, and there's 7 billion people on the planet, there's probably demand, unless it's some weird thing you want to do, like, underwater basket weaving. But assuming you have a somewhat rational, interesting career choice, you'll be fine, even if you make a little bit less money. So yeah, anyway, click the link. You can also subscribe here. I do talks like this, and so yeah, I hope to see you on my talk. That's a live talk where you can ask questions live and stuff. So everyone always has lots of questions on this subject. So figure out your destiny. All right. Leave me a comment here below if you have any questions. I can't always answer, but I'll try. All right. Talk to you soon.